On the McLaren report and the IAAF reforms, we're now joined by Dan Williams, who's in Madrid, Spain. Dan, the new report has further dented Russia's image, but they still don't admit to any wrongdoing. What do you make of this?
Well, this is, of course, now a huge headache for all concerned. As you say, it's a huge denial and outrage emanating from Russia. They say they've put in place all the right practices now following that IAAF suspension. And as far as this second McLaren report is concerned, the likes of Vitaly Mutko, of course, who's the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, and he was the Sports Minister at the time, he's been implicated in this report. He denies any wrongdoing, and he said that this report is anti-Russian and is very much against a conspiracy against Russia. Then you have the likes of Alexander Zhukov, the Russian Olympic Committee president. He says that there is no such thing as state-sponsored doping in Russia and puts a huge question against this report, the integrity of this report. And then you have various athletes, Russian athletes, past and present, pouring scorn on the whole system as well, saying that they've done nothing wrong. Why are they being targeted? We've obviously had these other leaks as well involving high-profile international athletes, and they can't understand why they're being targeted. So you now have this huge divide, if you like, between Russia and then the other side. Even the IOC have taken some sanctions. You've got the IAAF who've got the suspension in place, the Paralympic Committee, as well as all of these anti-doping bodies. And it's very difficult to see now where the common ground will come. So certainly this is a story that is set to run and run with further possible sanctions, as you say, potentially possible for Russia going forward.
Now, football was one of the 30 sports implicated in the report. Does this jeopardize the 2018 World Cup?
Potentially not, but those questions are starting to be asked. Damien Collins, the British MP, has become the latest voice to voice his concerns against the Russian World Cup. As you say, football was implicated in this report. And added to that, as I say, Vitaly Mutko, who was also implicated in that report. He's seeking re-election on the FIFA Council. He's the chair of the 2018 World Cup Organising Committee as well. And so you have now this question mark against him. That's going to be very awkward as well for FIFA going forward. But as far as Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, is concerned, he says that where other sports perhaps have these issues, that's not for him to be concerned about or for FIFA to be concerned about. If there is an issue with doping in football, that will be dealt with by FIFA's in-house doping institutions. So therefore, that will be the only form of focus. And as far as he's concerned, there's no real threat, if you like, for Russia to have this World Cup taken away. But of course, if these calls start to grow, if there's further controversy, further allegations, then we'll have to see whether that will indeed be the case. But 18 months to go to the World Cup, this is certainly not something that FIFA would willingly look to do.
And last week we also saw IAAF pass sweeping reforms to try to rebuild their image. Will this be enough, or is the damage already done?
Well, certainly, as you say, the damage over the last 18 months to athletics' reputation has been substantial, and there's every chance of further revelations to come, of course, with the former administration potentially heading towards a court date. But that said, these reforms that were passed, they are seen as far-reaching. It restricts some of the powers of the president, of Seb Cohen, and then whoever follows after him. It also gives extra focus on the athletes. There are better checks and balances in place. So it's really very much a reset, if you like, of the IAAF. But of course, they have to get their house in order. They've still faced the controversy with Russia. They still, as that report suggested, there's all sorts of issues to do with other countries that are on warnings, the likes of Kenya. And added to that, there is always the potential of a couple of high-profile athletes perhaps returning a positive sample as well. And that would really rock athletics back on its heels again. But if I take you back a year, the IAAF was in a mess. It's certainly moved on from there, but of course there's still a huge amount of work to go.
Dan Williams in Madrid, thank you.